What's poppin', everybody? It's a Saber 94 with a new deck profile to show you guys today. I call this deck Pharaoh Limb, and that's because it pairs up the Drifblim from the previous set, Stellar Crown, and this new Cofagrigus from our latest set, Surging Sparks. Did I say that right? I think so. Basically, this is a stage 1 deck, and you guys know how I feel about regular Pokemon, whether they're stage 1, stage 2s. They're very, very underpowered. This deck is no different. It has a lot of drawbacks, and I always just gotta stress myself to death playing matches and losing. Not really because I did anything wrong, but just because these cards have terrible SHP, and they die for no reason. They're just liabilities. Against Greninja, you get two small dudes down. Greninja can kill them. Dusknoir can kill them. Just way too easy to die. Like even with like some crap like a basic Darkrai V, just attacking for 2 for 50. This guy just has 130 HP. You use his own attack, they attack for 50 for 2, you're dead. It's ridiculous. But anyway, the reason why I'm combining Drifblim and Cofagrigus is because this Cofagrigus can be kind of okay against ability Pokemon, but if your opponent doesn't have ability Pokemon or they choose not to play them, then you don't really have anything else to do with this card. So we got this guy as a sort of backup. So basically, Cofagrigus here is sort of based on the Weavile from Burning Shadows, one of my favorite newer cards, I guess, from the Sun and Moon era. You hit everybody for 60 if they got an ability. Now, Weavile did straight damage, so they could have blocked it with like bench protection or something, perhaps. But Cofagrigus, it's an effect of an attack. Like you just place damage counters, so they won't be able to dodge it as easy. They can dodge it in different ways, I guess. This sort of way to do damage also has its drawbacks. But it's the same damage. Now, this is slightly worse than a Weavile still, because Weavile, it came out in the Sun and Moon era. That was like 2 generations ago. And 60 damage back then meant more than today. You're hitting 60 damage today on everybody. Pokemon have a lot more HP. Stage 2 EXs, Stage 1 EXs, V-Stars. They got a lot more HP than what the GX Pokemon used to have. And the tag teams, at least they were going to give you 3 prizes when they died. So, it's unfortunate. However, I still wanted to try it out because it's the same thing basically. 120 HP is terrible, 2 retreat is terrible. Fighting resistance is nice, but anything that just hits us for decent fighting damage will still kill us. And 100 for 3 is terrible, and we're never going to use it. It's got to be some very desperate, very unique situation for you to use this attack and power it up. Okay. As for the Drifblim, this is from the previous set. I eyed up this card as well from the previous set. It wasn't like I wasn't aware of it, but it's just too many drawbacks on it, and I thought it's just not worth it. With Greninja, with Dusknoir, it just wasn't worth it to build a deck based on this card alone. But with Cofagrigus, we sort of need a partner, so this guy was just the best thing I could think of. Everyone explode now. This is a 50 for as many Drifblims and Drifloons as you got, basically. If you got 4 of these cards out, whether it's Drifloon or Drifblim, you max out at 200 damage. You got 3 of them, 150, 2 of them, 100. So not too bad, right? Unfortunately, they had to give it a stupid drawback too, because they want to make sure that this card is always going to be terrible. If we use it, we got to have millions of drawbacks. So every time you attack, you hit all of your Drifloons and Drifblims for 30 damage. Now, this is going to add up. After a couple of attacks, it really is going to add up. It puts the pressure on you to evolve into the Drifblims, otherwise the Drifloon is going to die with 70 HP. And then the other problem is, you just soften up yourself for Greninja. You just give yourself so many issues, and there's not really any way to dodge this effect. Like with Manaphy or something, it's just gonna protect us from our opponent's bench damage. It's not like the old Mr. Mime from Plasma Storm, so that sucks as well. So you just gotta let it happen, and it really is unfortunate. These guys have terrible HP as it is, 130 HP. This ain't the fucking black and white 2012 era anymore. This is not good HP. Okay? I mean, tired of saying this, but I'm never gonna stop, because it just needs to go in people's heads that the Pokemon company is taking the piss with these regular Pokemon. They've been doing it for far too long. I just basically gotta make myself suffer every time I have to play one of these decks. But I still do it. I guess I'm nuts. Anyway, these are all the Pokemon. I'm not gonna run anything else. I'm just gonna leave the space for consistency cards. We gotta have our smaller guys too. The Yamask here. I think this is the best option. 70 HP. Terrible, but that's the case. There's ones with 60 HP, I think, but one retreat. But I gotta take the extra HP, you know, for Dragapult, for just whatever. We need as much SP as we gotta get, as we can get. And then the Drifblim 2, also terrible. 70 HP, 10 for 1. Ridiculous, man. Like 10 for 1, 10 for 20 for 2. You know, back in the day, 2007, Pokemon did like 1 for 10. You hit something like that has 100 HP. That's like 1/10, okay? Doing 10 damage for 1 these days, like if I'm hitting a stage 2 EX Charizard, you gotta hit it 33 times to kill it. But they still insist on giving these cards shit stats, shit HP, shit attacks. Like this is 2008 still. Anyway, these are all the Pokemon. Simple stuff. If you play against ability Pokemon, your opponent, they play all of them down, they don't know what these cards do, they could screw themselves. That's it. So for the trainer cards, we run a lot of stuff. I max out the Nest Ball, and I also max out the Pofins to get the little guys consistently as possible. I max out the trekking shoes for item-based draw, and I got the Pokegear as well to help us fetch a supporter. Try and make the deck as consistent as possible, since I don't have any ability Pokemon to draw or anything else. For Evolution Gathering, we've got the 1 Ultra Ball. I don't really need to discard anything in this deck, so running a lot of these might be bad. So I'm doing 1, and I'm doing, you know, the Capturing Aroma. We're just gonna try and draw through our way to our stage 1s. I mean, you do run a lot of them, so it's kind of like how the Spread Frost deck is. But I mean, in that deck, I do have the Arizu. I got 1 in this deck still. So it's another way to get evolutions besides the Ultra Ball and the Aroma. That's about it. And I mean, technically you could run more consistency cards if you wanted to, but I want to have like 3 stadiums in here too. The Pokemon League Headquarters, effective against Raging Bolt and other basic Pokemon. I think it's pretty good. We got the 1 Vessel too. I don't run a lot of energies, but we do need energies to attack in this deck, so this is going to help me gather them. Simple stuff, good card. Okay, and that's it for the items. I mean, 1 switch as well. Never know. I mean, whatever they pull active can attack if you just slap an energy on, but you never know. Might want to switch for some reason, attack with something else. 1 of this could be handy. The ace pick of choice is going to be the Unfair Stamp. I usually run this in these regular ass decks because they die too easy, so this is going to be live pretty often. Plus it lets you draw, not just disrupt, so it just helps out these decks a lot, like these shitty ass regular Pokemon decks. I think it makes sense. There's that little card thing that's popular I've seen with people that lets you get as many basic Pokemon as you want. I guess it's cool, but you know, with Pofin and all the other methods, it almost seems like a waste to run that ace spec. I guess people just want to set up as quickly as possible to kill the opponent as quickly as possible, because that's how linear and predictable and shitty the format is. Modern TCG. But I would still rather have Unfair Stamp in this deck. Okay. Supporter cards are standard too. I got the 4 Iono, decent draw and disruption. 2 Youngster, kind of the same idea, but just for draw. Double Grusha. We're kind of low on psychic energies. If we haven't attached anything yet and we can use this, we can draw a lot of cards, so it's good. And I got the double Cynthia as well. Pokemon are going to be dying all the time, so this is going to give us a plus most of the time. 1 Barry Steel for some, I guess, straight draw 3. Not really any drawbacks. Arizu, touched upon her, get those evolutions. And then I'm running the Tulip as well, since this is an all psychic deck. This makes for a great recovery card for Pokemon and energies in hand, not in the deck. So I believe it's superior over here than Miriam. So we run it. I mean, depending on what your opponent is using, you're either going to favor this guy more or this guy more. But I mean, if you got to favor Drifblim completely, you're probably not going to go far. You're going to run out of gas. You're going to be killing yourself. It's just not a pretty situation. They gave this guy this stupid shit drawback. And they also decided, hey, we're just going to give him 130 HP like this is 2012 still. No logic whatsoever at all. Anyway, I think I covered everything. That's about it. And the 9 psychic energy is just enough to attach them to attack, not have too many spares to brick, and that's it. Nothing else to add. Just a very simple deck. Ride your luck if you want to use something regular and are tired of using EXs and V-Stars all the time. This might be something, but like I've said, prepare to hit your head on the wall a lot of times when you play, because it's just a bitch using these cards. I mean, I do it, I still just try and use them because, I don't know, it's just a challenge in me. Trying to make these bad cards work, but yeah, it's probably better for your sanity to ignore them. I mean, that's what the Pokemon Company wants anyway. That's the way I see it. But yeah, Faraulim, Cofagrigus, and Drifblim. We're going to take them for some action. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share the video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time. What a